After months of being stuck in a plateau, exercising hard, and restricting food groups, Monika hit her lowest weight in 15 years by getting rid of all of that. Yes, she stopped exercising and started letting herself eat everything. How can this be? To understand what finally worked for her, you need to first understand what didn't work for her and why. Monika grew up in a family that had a history of diabetes. When she found herself becoming overweight, having cravings, and feeling tired all the time, her natural thought was, oh no, I'm also heading that way. If I don't do something now, I'll be stuck on pills and needles for the rest of my life. She didn't want to get there. And it didn't help that low carb and the insulin scare was at a high peak at that time. Every weight loss article was talking about how insulin is to blame for weight gain. So of course, she thought the same. While looking for solutions to manage insulin, she found Golo, a meal planning service with supplements that claim to help you manage your metabolism.
I tried Golo because all my symptoms was what were they describing. The fatigue, I was always tired, I was craving salty, then something sweet.
So she ordered some Golo packages and tried them. And while she lost some weight, she always felt hungry and the cravings did not go away.
After I decided I better go to a doctor because I was still tired, I was still was dealing with the cravings, I was hungry all the time. So the blood test came back and it says I had super high cholesterol. So the doctor put me on medication, and on the 5th day, I started to feel pain in my arm.
This pain would last for hours. Turns out one of the side effects of the medication was muscle damage.
So I was really afraid.
When Monika called her doctor, she was told to keep taking the medication or else she would get a heart attack. Despite what her doctor told her, she didn't want to improve one area of her health just to damage another. So she stopped taking the pills and began Googling ways to lower cholesterol naturally.
And then I find this Dr. John McDougall, and he's the founder of the Starch solution diet. So he said, just cut out dairy and meat, then you will cut out the excess cholesterol, and then you will get rid of your high cholesterol.
The Starch solution is basically a food group elimination diet that promotes eating a plant-based diet high in vegetables and complex starches. In addition to promising lowering cholesterol, it also promised weight loss. In 7 months, Monika lost 33 pounds and her cholesterol levels improved. She felt motivated and excited. And then,
after 7 months it stopped.
She made no more progress for 3 whole months. All this time, Monika had been looking for shortcut solutions that promised quick wins, using pills and food rules-based diets. But now that results completely halted, she realized she had to stop looking for quick fixes and go back to the basics for weight loss. Eat less, exercise more. She tried to eat around 1,200 calories a day and do 30 minutes of cardio 6 times a week.
So I started to exercise, reduce my calories to 1,200 calories, and in 2 weeks I gained more weight.
She felt utterly dejected and confused. She was eating a healthy plant-based diet, restricting herself to 1,200 calories a day, and doing 30 minutes of cardio 6 times a week. How could she still not be losing weight? On top of regaining weight, she started feeling more hungry and tired again, just like before. It was like the more effort she put in, the more she regressed in both physical progress and psychological satisfaction. At one point, she reached out to someone for help, who suggested she eat 1,400 calories for a week instead, weigh herself every day, and send him the information. But when the numbers still didn't make sense, she didn't get further instruction on what to do. Left hanging, she felt not only lost, but now alone too. At that point, she gave up and gained back 11 pounds. But Monika couldn't avoid reality forever. The truth is she still wanted to lose the excess weight. She knew she wanted to help, but after learning her lessons the hard way, she didn't want to pay for something that didn't fit her lifestyle or trust she could do sustainably for the rest of her life. It felt like every solution she saw offered was restrictive. She wanted something science-based that was also holistic and took one's lifestyle into account. And that's when she found us. She lost 12 pounds and 4.24% body fat in about 10 weeks and hit the lowest weight ever in 15 years. What did she do differently from before? First, she stopped doing unnatural things by making her plan adapt to her lifestyle, not the other way around. Instead of trying to find the perfect plan first, then bend over backwards to meet it, she started with what she was already inclined to do, then made tweaks to her habits one at a time. We made it as easy as possible to get started. First, we all agreed that in order to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. So we started her off with a mild 11% calorie deficit. This deficit should be big enough for her to still see some progress, but small enough that it's not too far off from how her body was used to eating. We also eliminated all food rules. While we encouraged her to continue to eat healthily by choosing foods that make her feel physically good most of the time, no foods were off the table. Finally, we made exercise completely optional. So Monika gladly got rid of all of her exercise and only took walks as needed when she was running errands, but otherwise, as she said, I'm only running if someone is chasing me. Of course, a common concern comes up at this point, which is, this seems too simple to be true. If I couldn't lose weight on 1,200 calories and 6 exercise sessions a week, how can I possibly lose weight eating more calories with less exercise? First, there can be many reasons why this could work. It's possible she wasn't tracking accurately when she was doing the 1,200 calorie deficit diet. Or too much exercise, especially without enough fuel for recovery, can actually tax your body so much that it slows down its metabolism by decreasing your NEAT or unconscious movements throughout the rest of the day when not exercising. We have seen many students start losing weight after decreasing their exercise for this reason. If you want to learn more about how and why this works, check out this video on the worst cardio mistakes people make. But ultimately, there are so many variables affecting our bodies that sometimes the only way to figure out what works for you is through experimentation. And this is the second practice Monika adopted, trusting in the scientific method of testing one hypothesis at a time and iterating on them over time. She decided on an experimental approach to figure out what was her biggest bottleneck to making progress. If she didn't make progress on the existing plan, then we'd help her come up with a new hypothesis to test. But for a good experiment to work out, you can't tweak a million different variables at once. So in this case, we want to experiment with just a mild calorie deficit while keeping everything else the same and seeing how it goes. Also, for an experiment to be reliable, she had to track everything she ate and learn to love data. Even on bad days where she didn't stick to her targets, she logged her foods anyway. Tracking food wasn't about being good or bad, but a way for her to collect data so that she could learn from her experiments. Through this experimental approach, we discovered that her biggest bottleneck to making progress was not related to any food rules or exercise, but simply managing cravings. She worked on cultivating a handful of strategies to managing cravings, like eating mindfully and pausing between drinking water between bites. And when she suspected she was a volume eater, or someone who feels more satisfied with a large volume of food regardless of calories, she tried bulking up her meals with high nutrient, low calorie options to increase the volume. We'll have more videos on specific strategies for managing cravings in the future, so if you don't want to miss those, hit the subscribe button and bell icon to be notified when future videos drop. Now back to the story. Once Monika managed her cravings, meeting her calorie target became a lot easier, and lo and behold, she started losing weight again. But things weren't all smooth sailing, because while we addressed the tactical part of weight loss, the biggest hidden saboteur of success is not tactical, but psychological. When Monika started to come close to her lowest weight in 15 years, she started self-doubting and feeling hungrier than usual. She also admitted that when she had gotten close to this weight in the past, she'd fall off the wagon and regain. Now again, she was questioning if it's possible for her to break past this number, or if it's a number she's destined to be stuck at forever. This was when she invoked the third practice that kept her on the path to success: recognizing and dealing with self-sabotage. In our program, we teach students a few strategies to overcome self-sabotage, like learning to recognize and get familiar with your negative self-talk, which we call the shoulder devil script, and tracking your rebound numbers so you know at what point you will start sabotaging your progress and can prepare for it ahead of time. But one of the simplest and most effective ways to combat self-sabotage is to simply share it with someone who can talk you off the ledge and not bottle it up. Monika did just this, asking for support in our community when she started feeling these self-sabotaging thoughts coming up as she was getting closer to her rebound number. And for the first time in 15 years, she was able to break past 46 kilograms or 141 pounds to hit her new lowest record of 139 pounds, a weight she had not been since before giving birth to her daughter.
I'm full of hope now I can get to the weight where I was 15 years ago. Finally, I have more energy. I feel better, like I don't feel my body hurts everywhere, free from pain, no more pain. Weight loss can be easy if you have the right information about it, and there is no magic pills, no shortcuts.
Finally, trust the process and believe in yourself that you can do it. But before you follow exactly what Monika did to succeed, your exact process will likely look different. because not everyone's bottlenecks are the same. At this point, you have two options. One, if you want a tried and tested, proven system that teaches you how to identify your own bottlenecks, whether those are tactical or psychological, then check out the free sneak peek into my Badass Body Boss program in the comments below. Or if you want to DIY it, then you don't want to ignore this video where we show you how 3 of our students tracked and analyzed their data so that they could identify their bottlenecks to success. I go behind the scenes to show you exactly what they track too. It's not all just food. So you'll want to check out this video next. And always remember, you can do this.